Hello everyone, Decker Shadow here. Interesting thing. Last time, I'm sure you remember when I got an interesting piece of spam, I read it off my phone, and it was quite nice. This is a bit too big for that. I get my messages on my phone, I get personal messages on YouTube, and usually when I get personal messages, it's just spam, and I just delete the email, and I forget about it on YouTube since I didn't get any real important personal messages usually. So it just says I got so many personal messages, and I decided, okay, I'll go ahead and clean it out now. And I didn't realize it since it truncates it on the phone, but this message was fucking huge. Let me give you a look. Okay. Yeah. You see that there? Well, it goes all the way down. There we go. Yeah. So, I've got a file size limit on this camera of 4 gigabytes. I'm recording this in standard definition, so I'll have the longest amount of time possible to film, but still, that's only about 2 hours and 15 minutes at best, and I'm not sure I'll be able to do this. But I don't know what... This is a religious tract. I got this message. This is... If you believe in God, and you are devoutly religious, and you cannot stand anyone saying anything otherwise, you might want to turn this video off, because I can't stand religious tracts, and I laugh at them. And this is super conspiracy. I haven't read it really yet. I've read the first few sentences, and I'm already like, what the fuck? And I'm trying to figure out why I got this massive conspiracy religious tract. I don't think everyone's gotten one of these. I said in my one review that I was atheist, and usually when religion comes up, and I'll critique that just the same as anything else. And a lot of times the way religion is depicted in movies is just ridiculous. So, but holy fuck. Let me just, Okay, it starts off, all caps. Google! Science versus evolution! Sub! Smiley face. Okay. Watch this if you think Christmas is good, gives the link. Now, I've already said that this is a very pro-religious thing, so there has to be some kind of conspiracy with Christmas on that point. But yeah. How to have a large, precious gem-laden, rare stone-laden, like those are two different things, and beautiful home in heaven. Aren't precious gems and rare stones material things? If I'm not mistaken, heaven is immaterial. So maybe you do need a guide to figure out how to do that. Bring up some spiritual gold. Okay, now we get to the massive first paragraph that takes up an entire fucking screen. If the EWR, Evolution World Religion, already. Evolution is a religion now, it seems. That explains why, once a week I go down to the laboratory to praise the genome. If the EWR is true, there is death before man got here, and therefore, death before sin. Death before sin is, all caps, heresy! before sin, in the Garden of Eden, God made the herb, right? All the plants. And the creatures were eating the plants. Plants are alive, aren't they? Wouldn't they be dead after you eat them? Just my opinion. But then again, my opinion is heresy! But apparently it's just that anything happened before modern humans came around that might have happened to die. Compared to the age of the universe, which is, I believe, 13.6 billion years old, to the age of the Earth, which is 4.5 billion years old, if I'm not mistaken. Life on Earth started about 2 billion years ago, I think. I'm not entirely certain. I don't have it up in front of me. I have this up in front of me. But not only has life been around a lot longer than us, which is what he's screaming about, but the universe has been around a hell of a lot longer than us, and a hell of a lot longer than our world. And life is made of some of the most basic, easy-to-create elements in the universe. So very likely there existed plenty of life before this planet was even around. But that's heresy! I wonder if he's going to say that I'm wrong, that this planet is because the Earth is flat, after all. There is a war going on. I should warn people of danger. Those are two different sentences right there. Two completely separate thoughts. If both NKJV, Biblical Creation, New King James Version, and evolutionism, it's an ism on evolution. It's evolutionism. I've heard of Darwinism because there is a certain... You can see the man and think of his personal viewpoints and share those viewpoints and decide to make a philosophy out of that. Hello, girl cat. I know you want me to shut up about creation story. You don't like it when I babble on about how you have a long, ancient cousin with dogs. Yeah. She doesn't like it either. Okay. Let's continue. And evolution, religion of death, blind chance, suffering, meaninglessness, etc., were taught in schools side by side, most students would believe in creation. It's because most students sleep through science class. And creation is pretty simple. They hand out the pamphlet that says God did it. And evolution, you gotta study all this stuff. Ah, fuck that. But no, actually, if they were taught side by side, most students would believe in evolution. At least that's what I think. People who will objectively look at it and say that generally the blind creationism is because people have been taught, well, if you don't believe this, and it's not wrong, then you're going to hell. Hope you enjoy that. And that's usually the defense against evolution. It's like, well, you might think it's convincing, but you're going to burn in hell for all eternity. So it's just a threat. So how many students taught them side by side will believe in creation or evolution? I think most will believe in evolution. However, how many children that you will show them evolution and then show them creation and then tell them and threaten them for eternity of pain and suffering that they will be punished severely for believing in evolution? How many will go to creation? That's a slightly different scale there. In order for evolution to work, a whole bunch of people / other living things have to and should die in order to prevent inferior genes to be mixed with the superior ones. Wait, what? In order for... to prevent inferior to be mixed with superior... John D. Rockefeller believed in eliminating the competition. This has happened in classrooms around the world. YouTube Kent Hovind. Oh, fuck. Kent Hovind. Age of the Earth full. Please share with others. Don't watch that shit. If macroevolution is true, humanity is worthless in a sense since humanity came about by chance. Oh, not chance! It can't be chance! I'm still stuck up on the have to and should die to prevent inferior genes to be mixed with superior ones. Strange that he stopped that line of thought before continuing, because I think he's trying to paste that as some kind of racial kind of thing, or this cold-hearted, you die, and the good ones live. You not good, you die! But it's just that, of course, if you're born with one leg, and you have a genetic predisposition for one leg, you're probably not going to live to reproduce, whereas those born with two legs will be able to survive to reproduce. And if you're in a place where there are fast predators, if you yourself have genetic predisposition to run faster, you have a better chance of survival compared to the people who run slower, and therefore will have the chance to reproduce compared to most of the others, and over time, there will only be people who can run fast enough to get away from the predators. And yes, I mean actual, from the movie. If you could outrun those things, you deserve to live, and fuck. So, I'm trying to figure out where the... He stopped that in the middle of the thought. I didn't know where he was going with that, but anyway. Humanity came about by chance, or, incremental changes based on environment, but let's just say it was all just the pull of a switch. If macroevolution is true, they have to specify macro. If you're not familiar with the creationist argument, they've come to the point where they can't deny that there are different breeds of dog, and that they came from wolves. Well, some of them still deny they came from wolves. But they say this is just changes within a kind. You never see them turn into a completely different kind. Of course, anyone who knows anything about the way evolution works knows, of course, a dinosaur does not lay an egg and it hatch into a duck. There is a transition. And for all those that say we don't have any transitional fossils, every single fossil is transitional. Every single creature is transitional. You are transitional between your parents and your children. It's just you can't tell because your parents and your children look pretty damn similar. If macroevolution is true, it is the duty of the strong to trample the weak. So evidently just biology inherits this kind of philosophy as well. Actually, that sounds more like Republican philosophy to me, and they don't like biology. The duty of the strong to trample the weak. If Christianity is true, it is the duty of the strong to help the weak. Actually, in evolution, looking at that's sort of the moral argument. But since humans are a social creature, humans are a herd animal, back in the day, it was a lot better if you had more people in the herd to, bring back hunts and help forage and, help keep the population alive. And if there was one person going around and be like, me stronger than you, kill! Me stronger than you, kill! And they try to survive on their own, what happens? Everything else, kill! They don't live. Their genes die out, and the ones that work together and are genetically predisposed to do so survive. That happened long before Christianity popped up. I don't think it says Christianity, because Judaism was before Christianity, and this is supposed to be the same God, right? But apparently all the Jews are going to hell, which they don't even believe in, so they don't really put up too much of a stink about it. There has never been a law banning creation to be taught in public schools. That's because of the separation of church and state. Thing is, government-funded schools cannot show preference for a single religion, show preference for that. So you can't teach creation and only creation. The reason that the intelligent design thing happened was because of the fact that you couldn't just go in and start and tear down biological evolution and replace it with creationism, so they had to try and pretend it was science to throw it there and say, our science is, we didn't test anything, and God did it. It's hard to keep my track of where I was, because there's no fucking paragraph. There's no cuts. It's just one big fucking thing. There have been laws banning evolution teaching, however. Where? In Iran? In fucking theocracies? The ACLU knows that if it sues over creation teaching in public schools, it would lose. Why would they sue? Why would they seek damages? But they sue anyways because the average principal will think, we can't afford a lawsuit. Quit teaching the creation. I get threatened by Fox all the time for what I review on YouTube, and I give them the finger. I can't afford a lawsuit, but I know I won't. I know my. It's okay, kitty. It's okay. Oh, God. It becomes local policy, but not because the laws/court says creation can't be taught, which it's separate. You know what secular means? It's a secular. It was the first really overtly secular country, not a Christian nation. A nation not of the people, and the people weren't necessarily forced to be Christian. And back in the day, people were terrified of what if a Catholic gains power. ACLU equals American Communist Lawyers Union. Communists! The ACLU lies when it says that separation of church and state is constitutional. Oh my God! Someone has never read the Constitution and is saying it's the first... Oh, look for that phrase in the Constitution. I challenge you. Ha ha. If you think I'm going to let public schools teach material which can destroy kids if believed in without standing up for what is right, you are in error. He drops an F-bomb. Not on my fucking watch. And he... smiley face. Just so you know, that was a happy fucking.